World Cup is around, and I guess with all the tension and all the issues with arrivals and the cost, I think most importantly, you hear the price of some of them tickets and the hotel rooms and even the commute. What was normally a $15 and $20 train ride now turn $100 USD. No, don't do that. I'll be watching the World Cup from home with friends or probably some nice little sports bar, and we'll take it in there. I can, no, sir. No, sir. Unless you win something, this World Cup here is going to be really, really tough. And look, imagine the World Cup is so close, literally, what, in some cases, 3.5 hours away, Florida. So come on. We'll touch with that and treat with that later on. But nonetheless, sit back, let's relax and enjoy as we go through the news cycle via the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian again. Good morning, TNT. So this story here grabbed my attention because the minister went in the parliament last week, bowl, on his feet, and said to the nation, it's recorded in the Hansard, that the murders were linked. He said what happened in Lady Young was linked to what happened there in Belmont. Now, sadly, we, again, all heartbroken because of the two incidents where minors, a little girl and a little boy, lost their lives. And to say such, with such confidence, and based on what he's saying, he doubles down. He's saying here on the front page that he got his info from the ground. So apparently, the minister's a groundsman. Yeah, Defense Minister Wayne Sturge, groundsman, minister, went in Parliament. No iota of evidence, huh? If you know something, I mean, you already said, Minister, tell it to the police. Now, the police now saying, TTPS, saying that that might have been the initial feeling, but upon further investigation, that's not the case. So what's really going on? And I find this to be most unfortunate, and especially our politicians in Parliament using the platform and playing politics with this most unfortunate circumstance and playing politics with the crime too. Well, it's them and it's because of this community and who in job. No. I'm not having it. I find this to be most unfortunate, and I hope, because I'm seeing the TTPS all up to yesterday, they're back in the community asking people to help with the investigation. If they hear something, say something. Detection is a very important part of policing, and we know the detection rate leaves much to be desired in the country. But the back and forth and standing in Parliament and making such an utterance. And then now the TTPS saying, well, that's not the case. It leaves nothing more than confusion, and there's no clarity, especially, not so much for the public, you know. The public, yes, we are confused, but I'm studying here the families, the loved ones, the brothers, the sisters, the aunties, the grannies, those who would have been impacted by what happened on Lady Young and what happened in Belmont, and what continues to happen in this country as it pertains to death via violence. So I'll stick up in there for now. We'll get a chance to expand on it later when we open the lines, but I found that to be a most bizarre development. Bizarre is the word, that a minister who's supposed to be on top of things, you have Minister of Defense, you deal with security. So I would think when the minister says something that probably is the case, and then the TTPS who are charged to carry out the said investigation saying something different. Go figure. Go figure this morning. CAFA and the government, they are denying the hantavirus claims. I mean, we like to be in everything, huh? Hantavirus, how hantavirus reach here? Now, granted, Trinity's all over the world, I agree, right? Because COVID was on the next side of the world, right? And then COVID ended up reaching. And it was locked down and people started panic. Who remember when COVID now reached, the place went crazy, you know, people started panic, people went up in the gears. But it's hantavirus, from what the experts are suggesting, it needs to be in an environment where there is close interaction, intimacy almost. Well, come on. Let's not fan the flames of the fake news. Of course, it's important to be aware, important to stay on top of what's happening, have that concern, and as Dr. Ramlachan said last week, exercise cleanliness in terms of self, washing the hands and making sure your person right? You have to deal with yourself first, but most importantly, and just as important, I won't say most importantly, because you have to deal with yourself first, but your environment. Yeah? All the rubbish and the old stuff and things hanging around that will encourage all these crawlies and flies, we get rid of it. Yes? So that story on page 10 if you want to read some more. And I'm seeing where our OPR scenario here, they are raising red flag. Raising the red flag, let's put that front page up. Over $100 million landmark housing contract. That story on page 6. That's the story of Trinidad and Tobago, from since I'm in khaki pants and tall socks. Contract, we get the contract, kick back on contract. Just that's always been, unfortunately, part of the dance in this Trinidad and Tobago. And you know what? We could have been so much further in terms of our development if there wasn't greed. And I'm not suggesting this particular case. I'm just talking here across the board now. In terms of when you hear contract, it's almost a word that gets people a bit antsy and nervous because, you know, for some reason, it's never a truly smooth process. There's always some kind of stuff happening on the back end. But again, read all about it, page 6 inside today's Guardian. Back page, sport page. Yes, lots happening in that regard, and the TNT Speed trio, of course, they restrict the Pride. That's right. That game is happening at the Oval, by the way, for those who love the cricket. That's right. And we're seeing, in terms of the EPL, Spurs and Leeds play off to a priceless point. Imagine Spurs in a relegation battle. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? And I'm seeing where Curacao part ways with the coach. I mean, how come? Only now make World Cup for the first time, you're making your debut. The man will take you over the line, all your part ways. That is a quite bizarre story, and that story here develops inside the Sport Guardian, page 47. I'll probably talk to Ian and get a little behind the scenes. I'll talk to Ian Wilson and probably Jassy to see if they know a bit more. But to me, if a coach takes you to the promised land, I would hope the least we could do is have him cross the line. Let me really, because I mean, it's kind of vague. Let me go on this really fast. They're saying that basically the Dutch veteran coach, right, he took the team, obviously, to the World Cup, the uncertainty around the smallest nation by population to qualify. He took the job in February. It's, you know, the team lost 2 warm-up games, but of course he took them over the line, and more or less there's not really any further explanation as to why they parted ways. You know, it had to be some kind of money thing or some kind of behind-the-scenes administrative thing. It can't be anything more than that, because you would think the least that will happen. That kind of like Ben Hacker. May he rest in peace. Ben Hacker took us to the World Cup. Back then, we were the smallest team in 2006. And imagine days before the tournament, less than 30 days, you get rid of Ben Hacker. That would have been a national uproar. People would be like, where's that one? And the question is, what does that going to say and do to the morale of the team going into this World Cup for the first time? So Curacao, that one is unfortunate, right? Again, I'll probably ask the guys if they know the backstory and probably share. Let's head to the brief on this Tuesday morning, because there is lots to unpack with our first guest, and they're standing by. I'll give some details momentarily, but as we go through the brief, we are seeing here all smiles. A.A. Lakis, there. Retail Divisional Manager, Christy Elias, all smiles here. And I'm seeing where a nice present would have been presented to, clearly, mothers, or at least the mommy here who delivered her baby on Mother's Day. That's a nice day to deliver your baby. You have a Mother's Day baby. You are a mother on Mother's Day. So beautiful picture, all smiles. And I'm seeing Justice C. Prasad condemns disrespect and just, you know, again, we're looking at the Justice, his particular, perspective. Man with a strong voice. So, by all means, let's read this one, and you'll get a good takeaway. You know, Justice C. Prasad is one who, when he makes a statement, people tend to listen in. So, and check it out here on page 3 inside the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian. Coming in first, touch base, we are treating with the Nelson Island development historian. Dr. Jerome Tiloksing will join me on the phone line concerning the renaming of Nelson Island and the historical significance of the said Nelson Island. That discussion is up next with Dr. Jerome Tiloksing. See you soon.
Gain real-time insights into what's happening at your facilities. Control who can access your buildings and when. Track all activity on a secure cloud-based platform. Contact the experts at Voice Outsourcing today to secure your facilities with the latest AI-driven technology. Magical Expressions Limited is the largest local importer and distributor of fresh-cut stems, offering the widest range of beautiful flowers at the most affordable prices. Call us today at 701-6488 or visit our website to order. Gaming Express Limited is a premium importer and retailer of the highest quality brand name electronics. We stock the widest range of PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, Samsung and Apple devices and accessories. Visit us at Shop 52, Level 2, Gulf City Mall in San Fernando, or contact us by phone or WhatsApp message at 687-7480 or 301-9797 or 798-1280. Like our Facebook and Instagram pages for updates on products and services.
Loving the flavors you get with Tetley, with Tetley. Loving the flavors you get with Tetley.
Wouldn't you just love a cup of Tetley tea right now? Dark, strong British blend to give you a good morning boost. Or Tetley decaf, all of the antioxidants, none of the caffeine. Losing weight or staying healthy your thing? Try Tetley green tea. Get the vitamins to boost your health with Tetley super teas. Or calm down with Tetley chamomile. Wouldn't you just love a cup of Tetley tea right now? Tetley, a tea for everyone.
Loving the flavors you get with Tetley, with Tetley. A tea for everyone. Tetley tea.
Distributed by AMCO, a subsidiary of Ansa McCall.
Get a loan at Bremont. The process is simple. Fast and efficient approvals. Receive funds within 24 hours once approved. And no penalty for early repayment. Located at 4 Gallant Street, Woodbrook. Remember, we like to lend.
Dr. Jerome Tiloksing joins me via the phone line for a most informative conversation ahead. We are treating with Nelson Island and its history and significance. We welcome the historian on the phone line, Dr. Tiloksing. Good morning. It's been a long time.
Yes, good morning, Jason, and good morning to your viewers and listeners.
Let me ask you, as it pertains to Nelson Island, and of course, good morning to you again, what's the historical significance of the said Nelson Island?
That island that now has grabbed the public attention, it has a varied and long history. And it started off from the first peoples, the early indigenous peoples. You know, they used that island to trade, fishing point. And, you know, they would have used these islands, not just Nelson Island, but the nearby islands, for hundreds of years. And then later on, you know, the Spanish would have used it briefly, the British, then World War I and II, 1930s, you know, detention centers we have been seeing in the news now, and then right down to Black Power time.
Does the word Nelson, and more so I'm hearing that the name itself was corrupted, as was apparently Nielsen. By some doctor who was Nielsen, and we Trinis, you know, putting our own twist on it, call it Nelson. So it should have actually been Nelson Island, from what I'm hearing. Give us the history behind the name itself.
Well, you are correct there in that the very name Nelson is a form of this Dr. Nielsen Island, and you know it is also linked to the fact that the island was given to the British elite. It was passed around, right, to the British elite as, you know, a sort of a holiday retreat. So it had this British connotation to it, and we know about Lord Nelson too from Britain. You know, so it temporarily belonged to this Dr. Nielsen.
So because of that, was this Dr. Nielsen also an Englishman?
Correct. That is how it has the name, right? But
So-
part of the British elite, yeah.
So does that name itself and the fact that the English would have had this particular island, does that reflect some kind of, let's say, a colonial value that we want to obviously adjust? We are going through a kind of almost renaissance. We have seen the movement to get rid of Columbus in the city. Columbus is no more. We're hearing now they want to rename the island. Does that Nelson tie into that colonial past, which in lots of ways still very much leaves a sour taste in many?
You are correct. Yeah? You are correct in that it's not something isolated. It is something that is part of what is happening globally. Removing of statues, changing place names. But let me just add to that the names in Trinidad and Tobago represent areas and represent a past. The word Arima is an Amerindian word meaning water. Even the word Aruka, right? It's an Arawak name. So Barataria, Bish, Kora, Shogunas all have, Bish is a French word for beast. Kora, Amerindian word again. So we have place names that stretch beyond the colonial past before the Spanish came into Trinidad and Tobago. We need to be mindful of that too.
So how do we preserve the history while correcting, let's say, some of the historical injustice that would have transpired? Because everything is written and recorded. And many of the names, and I mean, Ryson, when I heard of Ryson's story, I want to know why we still have Ryson Road as Ryson Road, but they say Ryson Road was, they say Lord Ryson, whoever, Mr. Ryson, Sir Ryson was a bitter, very bitter man.
Yeah. Even the Churchill-Roosevelt Highway, why are we using past President and Prime Minister of Britain and the United States? It's a debate that is ongoing. It's a debate that will not rest properly with some of the older folk, some of the historians who like to see the past there. But I feel once we start removing these things, we need to know, when are we going to stop? Should we put up a plaque to educate the younger generation? Would we start to rewrite history books? Would we have to do some rewriting on websites and social media? So all these things we have to take into consideration the implications.
Well, there's a level of consciousness that we exude, and we have, all of us, Dr. Tiloksinger, from the old school, and we would grow up knowing of certain oral history and written history. But I wonder, and you're an educator, you're a man out there, you interact with the young people. Do you get any sense that they actually care? The next generation coming up, do they really care if it's Nelson Island or Ryson Road or Woodford Square?
The younger generation don't care. They're concerned about the latest trends, latest fashions, fads. They're into Instagram, TikTok. They wouldn't care if Nelson Island is removed completely or given a comical name. It doesn't matter to them. In fact, a lot of young people, a year ago when I brought up some of these islands, they said that they go down the islands during the holidays and things, so they associate those islands with recreation. They don't have any sort of historical appreciation, and that contributes to the brain drain. They can leave easily, our Caribbean.
And interestingly, the history of the island also will speak to the imprisonment of Labour leader and activist Uriah Buzz Butler. Could you walk me through how long he would have spent there and why he was actually sent to Nelson Island?
Yeah. Cuba Uriah Butler was seen as a threat. And he was seen as this threat because of his involvement, as the public would know, on the 19th of June 1937, those disturbances. And because of that, his involvement during the World War II era, till the war ended in 1945, Butler was imprisoned on that island. He had to be isolated because the colonial authorities saw him as a threat. And interestingly, whilst he was there were Jews, German and Austrian Jews, on the island at the same time. The British saw them as enemy aliens. And I think there's now a cottage, Butler Cottage, that represents the home that Butler stayed in whilst he was there, on Nelson Island. So it's it's a history, Nelson Islands, of one that represents not just trade unionism, but radicalism, one that represents resilience, and it stretches across the board, not just those 1950s, but even beyond that.
I've never been, and I'm thinking I need to really, change that soon. I've been to Gasperi Caves, I've been to Shakari, I've been to most of the islands. I've never been to Nelson Island. I've never stepped foot on the island.
Right. I think it would be a good idea to do that because there are school tours, school children, primary and secondary schools, members of the public make those trips. Tourists come from abroad and they specifically go there. And I want to highlight the good work that the National Trust of Trinidad and Tobago has been doing to preserve that history, to maintain it, and educate the public. And the National Archives too has also been trying to provide photographs and information.
Yeah, I think, and because, as we would have mentioned, that some of the young people really don't care, I think that will bring about a level of awareness, pride, and more so understanding your history, because if you really understand your past, how could you really be conscious in the present and have any kind of projection for the future? And I think, history is something that we unfortunately, we put literally on our back burner in this country. So many of us do not know our own history. We know of America, we know of England. Imagine, Dr. Tilak Singh, I could tell you all about the French Revolution. Yeah,
Yeah.
Right. I did a full SBA on the French Revolution and its impact on Haiti, and I know all about France. Never stepped foot on French soil yet. Why learning about that? The education system needs to get a proper revamp so we could learn our history. And you have to wait till you go to UE to do a deep dive in history. The children should learn this.
Yeah. You brought up a very good point, but let me also add that when you talk about education, I feel sad to know that, there is within our schools, maybe the curriculum has to be revamped. Our system of teaching and learning has to be checked. I was very saddened to see recently the fighting amongst Tranquility students in Port of Spain, and when that older man intervened, he was beaten too. So we also have to look at what are we teaching our students? How is this education system? Is it just something cosmetic?
Yeah. Dr. Tilak Singh, I want you, if we could make a commitment here this morning to join me at least probably once or twice a month. Let's have the conversations about Trinidad and Tobago history. I want to learn, and I know the audience looking on, we all want to learn. So if you could bring it to us in a way, so like Ryson, Woodford, all these colonial names, give us the real history. Let us know what these people represented. So if we have to make any kind of adjustments, we go into it from an informed place. I'll let you have the final say.
Yeah, I want to mention, to those in power, our leaders, our politicians, to be careful of the extent that they change place names and they remove colonial icons. My voice sometimes doesn't have any power. I cannot vote in Parliament, and most of the public also don't have a say. And maybe we need something like a referendum where the public could decide on these issues rather than just quietly passing legislation. Let's hear what the public has to say before we make these changes, because it's something that will affect future generations. They will be confused to know that island has 2 names, or island had 3 names, or 4 names, or a street. So I think it's something we need to be very mindful of, and whilst we are doing these changes, we have to be properly educating the public.
Yeah, I agree in consultation, but there's also a part of me that would love, even if we're not changing the name, let the work or let it be known that this person would have done X, Y, Z, so at least you know. So you won't just think, well, hey, we're just celebrating somebody because of, the colonial past. Because from what I understand, many of these folks really would have had such questionable policies, and they were very brutal in so many regards. So, and that's why we have to continue the conversation. So hopefully soon, Dr. Tilak Singh, let's get into another one and at least keep informing the public so we can start the consultation.
Sure.
All the best.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Dr. Jerome Tilak Singh. Always enjoy conversations there with the historian. As you know, it's no secret from Mr. Charles to Mr. Joseph, history was my favorite subject in the school, and more than, well, I like my English and my literature and stuff. Well, maths was a bit of a challenge. But you see, history, oh my goodness, one history class, I am up, my eyes bright, and I take in notes, and I just soaking it in, because history teaches us so much, and really, if you understand it, you're able to make certain adjustments within the present. And the projection for the future will always be one from an informed place, because you understand what would have worked and what didn't work, and you wouldn't make the mistakes of the past. And it seems to me that we, when it comes to history in this country, are lacking in that regard, and I really hope that we find ways to step it up and improve and understand. All right, so Edie Stewart joins me, president of the TT Nurses Association. It's International Nurses Day. Our nurses, our future. Empowering the nurses, saving lives. That conversation next.
Basket Marketplace, Arima, Shogwana, Charflair, and Goville. Everyday low prices. Clean and white bleach, 950 ml, $15. Blue Waters Cran Water, 1 liter, 2 for $15. Hibiscus all-purpose flour, 2 kilograms for $15. Fox May cornmeal, 340 grams, $15. From fresh produce to pantry essentials and household items, visit Food Basket Marketplace, Arima, Shogwana, Charflair, and Goville. Food Basket Marketplace, where shopping is a pleasure and the price is right.
There's a hole in the bucket.
Well, fix it, dear Johnny. Just fix it. And while you're doing that, remember the roof is leaking, the house needs painting, all those kitchen tiles need changing. So tell me, Johnny, what about the plumbing? The driveway needs paving. Plus, you promised to add a new room to the house. I find it's about time. Johnny, fix it.
There has never been a better time for a TBLA home improvement loan. Call us today at 623-1501 or visit us at tblamortgages.com.
Love Mom with a gift from PRW Enterprises. Huge sale on smart TVs as low as $1,150. Give Mom an HP laptop for $3,000. Samsung A9 tablet, $1,199. Robot vacuum only $1,299. Bluetooth party speaker, $2,500. MSI 21.5-inch monitor, only $850. Call PRW today at 285-9779.
I've always wanted to be a mom. Always wanted to plan when it was going to happen.
What's wrong?
I'm pregnant. I haven't told Andrew yet.
You're not thinking about getting back together with him.
If you need me, I'm just a phone call away, okay?
Doesn't it bother you not having a plan?
Life's got a way of showing you what your next move's gonna be.
Season 2 of Sullivan's Crossing. Only on CNC3.
Edie Stewart joins me on the Zoom line this morning. Always great to have Edie with us to not only inform, but I guess for today we could take a moment to celebrate. And I think that's where your passion really, when we really look at the source of your passion, Edie, it's to really celebrate and bring more respect on the name of the nurses, an integral part of the healthcare ecosystem. And happy International Nurses Day to you and all the nurses, midwives across the length and breadth of Trinidad and Tobago. Greetings to you, Edie.
Pleasant good morning to you and your listeners, JW. Thanks for having me.
Edie, before we get into the celebration, really, and of course some of the concerns, I want to bring up something that there's a caller from Diego Martin who would, every single time he will call in, he basically got a concern with a statement you would have made during the COVID. So I don't know if you could probably give some clarity in that regard. I just want to kind of clear the air. There was some position you would have held as it pertains to vaccinations and all that, and for some reason the man holding that cross over your head for the last 6 years, Edie, he doesn't really believe in you. He brings that up all the time, and I'm saying, but I mean, me and Edie, we've had conversations, good conversations. So I wanted to give you a chance to just clear the air in that regard as to what that particular policy position was and why I guess that call and many would have felt a particular way.
It was not a policy position. And unfortunately, it was carried extensively. And one thing that left me, one has to be very cautious in the statements that one puts out, because definitely it will be taken out of context, it will be taken in isolation, and persons would run with it, and persons would not understand even the question that was asked. And the question that was actually asked, of me by the reporter was, it is, and it's a long time ago, so I'm just trying to throw my mind back. Do I have any issue with persons who are given first priority within the ICUs because the ICU will be becoming overrun at the time, if persons remember. We had very limited space in terms of ICUs in Trinidad and Tobago. And what the doctors were doing, what health doctors were doing, because doctors are the one who decides who gets into these ICUs across Trinidad and Tobago, not nursing personnel, not the union, it's doctors. And one of the things that they were doing is itemizing the age of the person. If the person is younger, that person would get a greater chance to get into the ICU because they had, whatever. If they had comorbid illnesses, all of these things would have contributed into the success of the patient within the ICU. And one of the things was if the person was vaccinated. And up to today, even though the Ministry of Health would have indicated and distanced itself that was a consideration, persons who actually worked on the ground knew that was one of the considerations that were being taken at the time. So it's something that, it came across as if I was putting forward a policy position as opposed to commenting on something that was already happening. So,
well, I want to thank you for the clarity there, President Stewart, because the caller, it's for months he's been, asking me to ask you. So I say, you know what, let me just finally get out of the way, and I'm glad we have dealt with it. Today, a very important day, as we, based on your utterances and the concerns you have brought, not just for months, but for years, regarding our nursing staff and the nursing culture, are we anywhere closer to putting that respect, that rightful respect on the names of every single one who steps out there and plays such an integral role within the health ecosystem? Because a nurse, let me tell you, without a nurse on the ward will fall down flatter. They are the ones that do the heavy lifting. Are we anywhere closer, Edie?
Well, let me start off by saying and repeating the phrases of the international nursing and midwives, but particularly international nurses on this day. Empowered nurses saves lives, empowered nurses. And that has been really the role of the Trinidad and Tobago national nurses, to empower our nurses. In fact, it's our watchwords where we seek for nurses to empower themselves and not wait for the politicians to try to do it, because they are not going to do it. And we have been on a mantra to ensure that we improve healthcare from within the bowels of the healthcare industry, and not wait for external persons to try to improve healthcare, because it appears they really have no real interest to improve our healthcare. It's more about, and some persons would say, encouraging persons to go to the private sector to fill those private sector persons, because we see simple fixes not being implemented, and one really wonders why. And today, the 12th of May, 2026, International Nurses Day, I would tell you, it is the worst Nurses Day that nurses in Trinidad and Tobago have been experiencing. It is the absolute worst we have ever experienced in the history of nursing and midwifery.
How so, President Stewart? How so?
Well, in addition to the big fish that nursing and midwifery personnel continue to work on 2013 salaries, This is a historic. People hearing me say 13-year-old salaries, people hearing that but not understanding. This is the longest that we have ever gone without a salary increase. The longest. This has never happened in the history of Trinidad and Tobago, in the history of the democratic Trinidad and Tobago. And this person must understand and appreciate the significance. And worse yet, the silence by the Minister of Health, the silence by the Minister of Finance, the silence by the Prime Minister is also a worrying concern. So you're already working on 13-year-old salaries, but in addition to that, the persons who have the ability to change that are remaining silent. So you don't know when you're going to receive your salary increase. And yes, it extends to all healthcare workers within the Regional Health Authority, but we are currently focused today on nursing and midwifery persons. So in addition to that overlying dark cloud that is hanging, I want persons to understand that there's a unique scenario happening within the North Central Regional Health Authority, where nursing and midwifery personnel and other healthcare workers have been the most demoralized they have ever been in the history of the North Central Regional Health Authority. And I can tell you, if anyone goes on the ground right now in any NCRHA facility, from Cora to Chaguanas, from St. Joseph Enhanced Health Center to Arima, Eric Williams, Mount Hope, you would meet demotivated workers throughout all of those institutions. I can tell you, we currently, nursing personnel continue to be stretched thin, continue. So we're already short-staffed. And the organization continues to do what they have always done, which is increase services in a bid to score whatever. But they continue to increase services without the corresponding increases in staff. I can tell you, you have a situation where we have brand new nurses who have gone through 4 years of nursing school, sat an exam, got their BSc, sat another exam, the Regional Nursing Council licensure exam, applied, passed that exam, applied for a job, and then within 1 month, resign from that job because they can't take what is happening. We have nursing and midwifery personnel, predominantly, as you would know, JW, nursing and midwifery personnel are 99% female in Trinidad and Tobago. And yet we have managers abusing our female colleagues, our women. We just came out of...
What kind of abuse you speak of, Eddie? Is it
verbal abuse? Verbal abuse. Verbal abuse. And we have a lot of our colleagues, senior managers, getting sick themselves, getting heart attack, strokes, because of the pressure being placed on them by senior management. We have constant threats of nurses being fired, and both of by management that we have already fired 4 other workers from patient escorts and others, and we will fire you too if you try to bring that empowered nurses to Trinidad. That's what is
Let me ask President Stewart, because I was hearing, I know in the public news cycle, it's for public record that Chairman Gopi Singh, Dr. Gopi Singh would have said, based on the shortfall with the staff, they would have brought in new nurses, clearly some fresh nurses out of, well, nursing school, I would imagine. One, how was that integration with the already established nurses who would have been there for obviously many years, and are these nurses equipped to treat with in real time these scenarios? I mean, what's the actual culture like right now?
As I said, it's the most disempowered. I believe it's the most frustrating situation. And I really want members of the public to understand what is transpiring. NCRHA, North Central Regional Health Authority, has always been short. That's a fact. There's no one who can refute that. Not Tim Gopi Singh, not the Minister of Health, not the past chairman or the past Minister of Health. It has all synonymously been short, and the association has been speaking out on that. And we have demonstrated, and has not been disproved by the NCRHA, that on a normal medical ward, you would require 22 registered nurses to operate so efficiently on a ward. NCRHA has half of that. They have about 11. If you go to any other institution throughout Trinidad and Tobago, you'll see about average 22 nurses. NCRHA has half of that. So if we were to extrapolate that and say every other RHA have about 800 plus registered nurses, NCRHA have about 400. Over the years, you would have persons leaving for migration, leaving for retirement, etc. So they would come down from that 400 down to 350, and they brought back in another 50 new nurses. So that is just to replace those who have recently left. It's not to deal with the shortfall that currently exists. And guess what? Out of that 50, 60 nurses that they brought in, persons are already leaving. And we had already demonstrated 3 nurses within the last month who they now brought on have already begun to leave, and we already got word that other nurses are leaving. In fact, the majority of those nurses that have hired, they are just waiting to be called by the other regional health authorities. And that is what is transpiring currently. And it appears, JW, and members of the public, that the NCRHA is looking for unique ways to frustrate nurses out of their position. They are looking, it is mind-boggling. We have a situation, JW, where we have long shifts because, again, the majority of nursing and midwifery personnel, 99% are female. So over the years, this is decades we are talking about, there have been long shifts, so 12-hour shifts instead of 8-hour shifts. Where nursing and midwifery personnel, instead of coming to work on an 8-hour shift, particularly night shifts, for 10 o'clock, from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. in the morning, they will come on from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. in the morning. So you are not required to be traveling late at night. And those people who are leaving shift, instead of leaving to the shift finishing at 10 p.m., and you have to hand over, so by 11 o'clock, you are now walking out of Cora. If persons know where Cora, that isolated hospital, there's no transport moving back and forth between Cora Hospital and the main road. You would have to walk out from there. There's no, you have to walk out from Eric Williams, Mount Hope Moment, instead of walking out and through that tunnel. If persons know that area in front of St. Joseph Enhanced Health Center, where nurses have been raped before. They have changed the shift to make it that night shift, 12 hours, so persons don't have to place their lives and body at risk. And for God's sake, we have a situation where the management has taken a decision to go back to that 8-hour shift. It is mind-boggling, and we would 100% agitate to prevent that from happening.
Let me ask President Stewart, despite clearly some of the perils, and you have outlined them very clear this morning, what's your message, if there is at all a message of hope to the nurses you represent on this International Nurses Day?
On this International Nurses Day, we are asking our members to unite. And I'm calling on all nursing and midwifery personnel. I know all of us are extremely frustrated on these 2013 salaries. I know all of us have our unique personal challenges that we face from time to time. Working on these 2013 salaries, working on a number of ills. But I really am calling on all nursing and midwifery personnel to see what nurses and midwives are going through in the NCRHA under the directorship of Tim Gopi Singh, and come to their assistance, come to their aid. Their call will be made soon to come and protest in front of NCRHA in our tens of thousands. And we are really expecting all nurses and midwives to come in defense. And that call, and I can tell you, that call is coming soon. Because if NCRHA put God out of their thoughts and dismiss one nurse or one midwife because they are standing on principle, because they are standing on safety of patients, because they are not willing to compromise patient care by saying that they will take admissions beyond what they can handle, and because they are refusing to allow themselves to be placed with one nurse to 20 patients, because they are standing on those principles, because they are being burnt out and frustrated and their health are failing, we have to go and rush towards their aid, because it's a nightmare currently in NCRHA. And if the nurses and midwives and other healthcare workers are feeling so, you can imagine the quality of care will continue to depreciate within NCRHA facilities. And I call on the Prime Minister today, because it appears the only person who can intervene is the Prime Minister or her designate, Barry Padarat, to come in and support and show that you really care about women. Enough talk that you care about women and all of these things. You care about children. Demonstrate by actions that you really care about women. Come to the aid of women in NCRHA and remove Tim Gopi Singh from office. Place him in some other construction site where his conduct would be more appropriate, and place a chairman who would be able to command the respect of workers within the NCRHA. It's not a nice place, and I wish I could have spoken more glowingly about International Nurses Day and all the things that is happening positive, but really and truly, what is taking place in NCRHA overshadows whatever good is happening anywhere else. It's a dark cloud, it's a dark day for nurses and midwives in Trinidad and Tobago.
Well, President Stewart, as always, sincere thanks. I feel your passion this morning. I mean, normally you would always be very clear in your utterance, but I could really tell it's getting to a fever pitch and a boiling point, and I hope there is clarity. I hope there is some adjustment, and there is, as I said earlier, respect put on the name of all our nurses and midwives throughout the length and breadth of Trinidad and Tobago. Keep us posted, Edie, and thanks again, as always, for your time.
Thanks so much for having me.
President Edie Stewart, representing the Nurses Association of Trinidad and Tobago. With that, we take the pause and we get ready for your calls. Lots of calls. We're going to put aside some time. Of course, Karen Rose, inside the second hour, will give us the full recap of the IShowSpeed Caribbean phenomenon and tour. We'll look at the numbers in terms of islands, engagements, and just go through the actual empirical details. We're going to do the postmortem, the audit, really, of the IShowSpeed tour. So, certainly, we're good to go inside our second hour, and it's coming up very soon. Stick around.
We are your one-stop, most convenient, most helpful, most caring community pharmacy. Our pharmaceutical services include dispensing medicines, repeat dispensing, clinical governance. But we also have a fully stocked convenience store featuring our refreshment aisle, grocery lane, personal care products, toys, pet supplies. We are most conveniently located out of the traffic, just 2 minutes off the highway in Heartland Plaza, in Devashagonas. Contact us on 220-8705 or 470-5938 and visit us soon.
Loving the flavors you get with Tetley. Loving the flavors you get with Tetley.
Wouldn't you just love a cup of Tetley tea right now? Dark, strong British blend to give you a good morning boost. Or Tetley decaf, all of the antioxidants, none of the caffeine. Losing weight or staying healthy your thing? Try Tetley green tea. Get the vitamins to boost your health with Tetley super teas. Or calm down with Tetley chamomile. Wouldn't you just love a cup of Tetley tea right now? Tetley, a tea for everyone.
Loving the flavors you get with Tetley, a tea for everyone.
Distributed by AMCO, a subsidiary of Answer McCall.
Struggling with heart health or frequent migraines? Discover the simple steps to reclaim your energy and vitality.
We're diving into a topic that affects about 422 million people around the world. Diabetes.
Tune into Wellness Unlocked, the series that delivers expert advice, practical tips, and inspiring stories to help you take control of your health and well-being. Your health matters. Don't miss Wellness Unlocked. Watch now on CNC3 and take the first step toward better health.
Period nights don't have to look like this. Move less, wake up to change. So change for a real night's sleep with Always Overnight. Its 3 times protection system absorbs, locks the fluid, and keeps it away from your skin. For protected nights without leaks. Always.
Welcome back. Before we get into the calls via the open forum, let's remind you ways to contact us, to communicate, to reach out so that we could advance the conversation. You're sending your email to tmb@cnc3.co.tt. Put yourself in a gear today. Let's move on to the social media handles: Instagram, Facebook, X, formerly Twitter. You get lots of information and updates via our Instagram page. It's very, very informative. Sometimes I go in the comments section and my goodness, I just have to hold my head, you know. These, my fellow Trinbagonians, we don't hold back, you know. Yeah, some of the commentary, it's, well, just check it out yourself. All right, let's move on to the mobile app. You must have on your smartphone. Get it today. Number 1 source for breaking news. That's right. So get this on your smartphone today. We move across to the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian. Guardian of Democracy. 108 years of legacy with the new look and feel. You can enjoy the Guardian on your laptop, your tablet, your smartphone, your computer. When you, well, I would say subscribe. And you're going to do that via guardian.co.tt. Let's head to our food for thought, words to inspire on this Tuesday morning. Success is how high you bounce when you hit bottom again. Success is how high you bounce when you hit bottom. And there are moments, you know, I never say it's never a loss, it's always a lesson. And, you know, you just, as they say, like how children do it, you know, you ever notice when a child falls, let's bounce right up and just keep moving. We can't stay down for too long. So, well done. Great words, great way to end the first hour. See you on the other side. Your calls live.
Looking for the ultimate gaming experience? Welcome to Phase 22 Gaming Lounge, where gamers of all ages come to play, compete, and have fun. Dive into your favorite games on PlayStation, Nintendo, Xbox, or race on our high-tech racing rigs. And experience the thrill of VR with PlayStation and Meta Quest. Our lounge is safe, comfortable, and perfect for everyone. When you're done, check out the latest gaming systems, accessories, and even Samsung and Apple phones. Visit us on the 2nd floor of Gulf City Mall or call 786-2404 to book your gaming session today.
Things don't always go as expected. Be ready with Trinry for auto, home, business and group life. Call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Huge insurance premium. Pay your premiums bit by bit with FlexiPay from Trinry. For more manageable auto, home and commercial insurance payments, call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Trinry. Premier insurance coverage for less.
Some of us like to test limits, but there won't always be second chances. Obey the speed limits. Maybe you don't value your life, but others value theirs. A message from the TTPS.
Time Check, brought to you by the Central Bank and the National Financial Literacy Program. Recession have you down? Don't lose hope. Head on down to Tire Clinic for the recession deals. Big savings with our road hazard warranty on Dunlop, Tomitoma, and Falcon tires. Available at Tire Clinic, Couva, Chaguanas, and Pleasance Park. Tire Clinic, a tire for every need. Call 636-8973 or 636-2958.
Every day at the castle, long before we open our doors, our work begins. Our famous seasonings are mixed in advance. We select our fresh chicken parts and prep our delicious sides. Then we fire up the fryers and rotisserie oven. Everything is made with tasty local herbs, spices, and the same long-loved recipe since 1968. So, when you come in, remember that we uphold our culture and our taste just for you. We are your Royal Castle.
Welcome back. It's your second hour, and let's give you a chance to connect and to touch base. 624-8721, 627-8658 phone calls. Up next, we stand by. So, Diego Martin, let me just straighten my tie here. What's your tie here? Good. I think, yeah. Right. Good to go. Yeah, so you know, I speak on behalf of those who call and those who meet me, whether it be in the supermarket, on the road. They will ask certain questions, bring up certain concerns, and I use the platform to just advance the conversation. So I hope I was able to get some clarity there for Diego Martin. If you touch base, just let me know. Let's set the Faizo back. Faizo, good morning.
Good morning, my brother.
Good morning, Faizo.
Good morning to Naran Tobago. Jason, being a former trade unionist, active trade unionist myself in the oil industry, yes, I would have listened Mr. Stewart over time. And, you know, I would have listened to him this morning and over the recent past. Rather than deal with the issue, went on a personal attack on the CEO, I think Mr. Gopi Singh. Now, Mr. Gopi Singh has a wealth of experience in the health sector. And, you know, I am thinking that even Stewart has lost his way. He's now starting to lose the real support that he had or wanted to have, because I am on the ground. And it was amazing to me a couple of days ago. I heard a 70-year-old nurse is saying, you know what was her statement? UNC in power now, I wouldn't get my contract renewed. So there's a conspiracy in the industry that I suspect that is taking place.
Is it really a Faizo? Let's take our head out of the sand now. Is it really a conspiracy, Faizo?
Okay, listen. No, I'm glad you asked that. When I say conspiracy, I am not saying within the whole health sector. You know. I'm saying within the NCRHA. We have what you call organized crime with overtime. You know. It would have been discovered and exposed. And now that is a damning thing. So I have a little suggestion, my brother. And one is, you know, we can't keep going back and forth with this thing. So I think if you invite Dr. Fuad Khan, Mr. Stewart, Dr. Gopi Singh, and Dr. Lakram Bodo, and hold like a panel discussion.
You had to put that in a boxing ring, partner. No.
I'm
not a referee, you know. I'm not a referee, Faizo. You hear the names. You hear the names. You don't call it to be in the same room. That's not happening, Faizo. It's not happening, Faizo. Let me ask you this, Faizo. Who is in charge of Southwestern Regional? You know the chairman's name?
No, I don't have a clue.
And that in itself answers the question. Dr. Tim Gopi Singh and Edie Stewart, these are two big personalities with clearly big egos, and they're going at it, and it's playing out in the public domain.
And it's
unfortunate.
The point I'm making. So what we need to really find out is what is the situation at the NCRHA. That's what we need to find.
Well, Edie now said it. Edie said clearly, like the chairman is speaking to the people, to workers, in a harsh way. He didn't go into details, but that's what I was able to decipher. He's making it seem like the chairman is out of his league, and he's not a in terms of communicator then.
Okay, my brother. For the past 13 years, the nurses have been on the bad side of things financially. I agree with that. But it doesn't take away that if I come in there and I discover some malpractices that I intend to correct, and you want to resist it. Yes?
Well,
so I think we need to get to the bottom of the thing and stop the bantering. We need to get the people in charge, hold them accountable, and let John public find out what is happening. But I'm getting a sense that even Stuart is starting to lose his support. When I hear him make that appeal this morning, it tells me a different story.
Well, I hear your voice so loud and clear as always, and I want to thank you for the important contribution. I mean, I just was, making sure, I make it clear that this we're dealing with two personalities here who clearly nobody backing down, and I gonna be a moderator in that panel, Papa. Ooh, nah boy, Faisal, we go put your boy in that back panel for. Shogunas, morning. Good morning, Shogunas.
Good morning, Jason.
Morning.
All right, Jason, I agree with this, and also it's not a conspiracy. Right, I believe that everybody is entitled to their speech, and whoever say what, that doesn't mean that something is the way how it is that they say it is. Right, but a lot of things go up in the public domain, right? That's where rumors are concerned, and people start spreading like wildfire. Right, that's why some people might think it is a conspiracy. I mean, Gandhi said, before the truth put on its pants, a lie will reach halfway around the world. Right? So let we be very clear as to what it is we believe in and what it is we not believe in. Jason, what I would like to say this morning in connection with all the school violence and all the stupidness that's going on in Trinidad, I believe, honestly speaking, that things probably are a bit tight and tough right now as to where some people are concerned. Right? But life is not as hard as it is that they may think it is. People could do better for themselves out here, Jason. Is a focus is on the wrong things in life. I know if it's the social media, if it's the Facebook, the TikTok, I mean, if it's the KFC cell where they eating. What I want to say is that people could do better for themselves out here if all they focus on the correct thing. Focus on all their needs rather than all their wants. All right? Too much of people want to be outside there in the glitz and the glamour, in the public domain. Too much of people want to be outside there and posting up this and posting up that. But they ain't post up yet what it is they're really doing in life for themselves. So to the Trinidadians outside there, I mean, I know that things might be 100% right now, but all they could do better for all themselves, right? If all they focus on all they function, if all they function on the correct thing.
And in all fairness, all the best Shogunas, in all fairness, Shogunas, he's been holding to that particular mantra for a long time. He's always been one to suggest that we are indeed, we are the captain, the pilot of our ship, of our particular craft, and we could do better. And it's one I actually endorse here. It starts with you. You can't expect government on this one. Yes, there should be some assistance, especially for the extremely vulnerable. But ultimately, if I want to get fit and get six-pack, I have to go and work out. It can't just happen. You understand it? You have to put in something to see the results. So yeah, man, thanks for that reminder there, Shogunas. Obviously, he's one that's been very consistent with that argument since we've been having interactions on the program. Let's head to Trin City. East Moorings, as they say. Trin City, good morning.
Hello?
Good morning, Trin City. Is Trin City right?
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Welcome.
Yeah. I'd like to make a very short contribution. And it relates to the first segment this morning relating to the history of the Nelson Island situation, right?
Yes.
Oh, my contribution simply goes like this. Jason was commenting about the importance of history in our understanding of world events. And I came across a quotation that went like this. He said, history is a prophet who looks back because of what was and against what was announces what will be. Right? That's the end of my contribution this morning.
Beautiful. Very powerful, Trin City. Thank you so much. Endorsing, again, that push towards history and deeper understanding. Well, is Movant, my colleague Richard saying Movant. I don't know, Richard, you had croissant this morning, Richard? Movant? Where is Movant? I know Movant. You see, because Movant doesn't exist, it's Movant. My boy telling me, Jason, I'm Movant. Oh, Rich, that's the greatest ever. Yes, yeah, we lost Movant there. Well, it's probably really supposed to be Movant, I guess, right? But we Movant. Right? Good morning. Good morning, Tomova. Morning. Who's out there?
Correct, sir.
Hello?
Richard is correct. The proper pronunciation is Movant.
Yes, it's true. It's Movant. You know, but
Yes.
that's Movant with when you're eating a croissant. But in Trinidad, we say Mova.
Mova, yeah.
It come like Sawa, right? We say Sawa, but it's San Juan. But, you know,
Yes,
you know what the
exactly.
thing is. Yes.
And also, let me give you a little joke.
Talk to me.
Because I didn't clean the TV screen for the longest while, and as I passed the little cheesecloth on it this morning, I realized, I said, boy, JW, real handsome boy. Yeah, I didn't know what the TV screen, you know, having you looking a little dull there, but you look radiant this morning.
What about cheesecloth is it?
For having me.
I don't work with
I have
cheesecloth.
a small contribution to make.
Yes.
I want the parents of Trinidad and Tobago to hold on to their children because, you know, look at what's happening outside here.
Mm-hmm.
The children are suffering. And no parent, even though we want to say it is good or bad, a parent is good or bad, no one here is to judge a parent. A parent would always feel hurt when their children have passed away in this evil and wicked way.
Mm-hmm.
So hold the bull by the horn. Parents, bring children into this world. Try your best, parents, to bring the children up in the correct way.
Yeah.
The parents who think that they need help, and we do, we know our shortcomings. As educated or as uneducated as some people will say, quote unquote, we know our shortcomings. We see where the problems lie. We see the problems coming to meet our children. We know that when they bring things into the home and they never work for it, we know it is stolen goods or goods that are being impounded upon them in the incorrect way.
And you're spot on.
Please try to avoid it. Avoid it. Bring the children up, and in my little opinion, that will help society.
Listen.
They will be more receptive into society.
You're spot
They
on.
would not be labeled. They will be able to get something to do where they could start from. And children, listen to your parents. When a parent talk to you and you choose to go the wrong way, these are the things that could happen sometimes. Listen to your parents, listen to your teachers. They could only have the good things to express upon you. That is my contribution this morning. And don't be hurried to get money. Money is there, but you need to take your time, go through your regime, your school, and work. And you're going to get your earnings. You're going to get it.
Well
it
said.
will take a little longer than you want it, but you're going to get it. Start off with your 5 PXCs or your 6 or your 7 or your 8. Get something to do, and then you could graduate into really what you want to be.
Yeah.
Don't be too hurried.
Thanks for that,
Don't be too hurried to get this thing called money.
Thanks for that. I appreciate
Thanks
the
again, JW. Have a good day. And
Yes.
I need to continue cleaning the TV screen.
Yeah, with the cheesecloth, yeah, definitely. Thanks so much for the commentary. And what you said is spot on, because there was a time where, I could tell you in my time, I could not go home and Mommy June defending me in any nonsense. So I go home in any wrongdoing, I'll be definitely reprimanded. I'll be, that's the problem, where parents backing children in their wrongdoing. If as a child you're doing wrong and your parents backing you, well, hey, there's no accountability. So you'll continue doing the worst until the authorities or worse yet, some of the evil elements hold on to you. And that's when sad will be a portion now. So spot on to the caller just now. Final call. I believe we head to Shogunas again, Central Side. Welcome. Good morning.
Morning.
Yes, welcome. I'm listening.
Yeah. Morning, Jason. I want to talk about the wrongful death of Angelica Jogi in Tobago. Now, this death does not stop with the arrest of this key driver.
Mm-hmm.
You have to look at all the factors, all the people involved. It starts with the people who own the ski, who rent the ski, they have to be sued. You have the people who are responsible for organizing and running the park. They have to be sued. And then, of course, the Tobago House of Assembly, whose sole responsibilities for all waterworks in Tobago, they have to be sued too. Because a similar situation like this happened in 2007 when Yannick Quesnel and his girlfriend were run over by a pirogue, and he got millions of dollars. So Mr. Jogi, Arnold Jogi, is concerned about arresting the person who driving the ski, but that's not all. There's a lot of actors involved he has to sue, starting with the Tobago House of Assembly. When the Tobago House of Assembly pay Mr. Arnold Jogi millions of dollars, then he could relax himself. Thank you.
Thank you, Shagonas. Yeah, that situation occurred when I was out the country, and when I was looking at the news cycle, it really broke my heart because I wasn't here actually. I think that would have been probably, I think I was in Jamaica at the time. Can't really recall per se, but that was a tough one. So thank you again to all the callers, to everyone who will take the time to pick up the phone, to my friend there who used the cheesecloth to make sure the TV is in extra crisp viewing condition, right? Big man like me, hardback man like me blushing this morning, all right? Thank you. And again, for the commentary, well done. Up next, some more commentary, a matter of fact, some analytics. We're gonna crunch the numbers, country by country. Karen Rose joins me as we recap the iShowSpeed Caribbean Tour 2026.
Step into ABC Doors and Windows, where quality meets variety. Discover premium wooden, steel panel, fiberglass, and steel security doors alongside aluminum, UPVC, and steel windows designed for strength and durability. At ABC, we're always a better choice, delivering products built to last and service you can rely on. Visit our showroom at 1 Chancotrace, El Socorro South, or call 638-7184 to make your dream home a reality.
In the ever-changing media landscape, we at Guardian Media strive always to put you, our viewers and readers, first.
We strive to uphold the time-honored tenets of responsible journalism.
For us, accuracy is key.
And in our reporting, we strive not only to be first, but fair,
impartial,
and to uphold journalistic integrity.
Above all, we are accountable to you, and we must respect the views of our audience. That is our solemn contract with you.
Keen attention to detail.
Rigorous verification of facts.
Use of credible sources and sound editorial judgment.
Keep track of our editorial policies and guidelines, including our corrections policy, by logging on to www.guardian.co.tt for more.
That's right. It's your digipreneur, have no fear, and Karen Rose joins us this morning, and he's joined with great company. Joel Monicat joins us as we look to break down and discuss the iShowSpeed phenomenon and his tour. We're going to do the analytics. Of course, Karen, we know him as a digipreneur, and Joel is the sales and marketing manager at Media Insight. Joel and Karen, good morning, gentlemen. It's going to be a great discussion ahead. I can't wait to crunch the numbers and to speak of the impact of this iShowSpeed Caribbean Tour. Welcome and good morning.
Morning, Jason. Morning. Thank you.
Great.
As always a pleasure to be here.
Well, first question, and I know we'll crunch the figures. Which island got the biggest engagement, had the most numbers, the most views, the most traction? Which one out of all?
we want to get right into it.
Yeah. One time. I go to the juggler one time. I go to the juggler one time because that's the big question. I mean, we'll do the breakdown as we go, but which one really got the momentum globally?
No problem. So what we did was, I'm going to break it down like this. So this is the period of when it started in April 26th, right up until May 11th when it ended, right? So for that period, looking at all of the streams, the number one performing stream, and I need to explain this a little bit, is Dominican Republic. Right now, it has the highest overall engagement. Now, here's the thing with the Dominican Republic. The DR, we know when the stream was actually happening, there was bot traffic that came on that kind of spiked the views. So we know that there was about 300,000 people that were viewing concurrently at the height of that stream. So even though it generated 7 million views, we know some of those views were bots. But this is the reason why Dominican Republic actually became the number one stream. It had by far the highest engagement of any platform. There was over 270,000 interactions on that YouTube stream, which surpasses everybody. I mean, the next best one was the 4 Island Tour, Dominica, Guadalupe, St. Kitts, St. Martin. That had about 6 million views and 150,000 engagement pieces. Trinidad came in third and sits at third with 4.97 million views and a total of 164,000 total pieces of engagement on the stream.
Wow. I mean, Joel, what we saw there was a real phenomenon. I've never seen that kind of momentum. I mean, a tour of such a scale. What was your reaction to all of it and the kind of attraction online, the numbers, as it were?
Well, the numbers was really expected from the type of interaction he was giving overall of the countries. So we do know at Media Insights, what we do is track and analytics, and everybody could do that. But of course, with us, we were tracking more of the emotional background of what persons are saying, how they're engaging with him. And that was done in terms of also demographics. Because let me take it to you. When you saw I Show Speed the first time, you knew exactly who he was?
Yeah, I knew because my son is 19, so my son would have informed me of I Show Speed.
You see what you just said, your son informed you. But our age group was like, who is this guy? What is he doing in the country? And all of that was also brought up in our metrics with the demographics, the age graphics, the age group, who is really following him. So these are the type of metrics that we were looking at in terms of giving the audiences so that they will know. And to tell you, to also top it off from Karen Rose, we were also looking at the back end of how many mentions were done in the countries. And to tell you, Trinidad was also leading for a good while in terms of mentions until he went over to Jamaica. And because of the interactions with the superstars like Beanie Man and Shinsia and those type of things, it went up, and then they took the lead in terms of the mentions.
I mean, Karen Rose, when we consider what we just witnessed, truly historic, you think there's any chance we could see something like that again? Or is there any streamer that could pull off the kind of numbers that he would have pulled off in the region?
Well, he's not the number one streamer in the world. He's number 2. That title belongs to Kai Cenat. He's just on his sabbatical right now. So could it happen again? Absolutely. Kai Cenat is out there. Kai Cenat is half Trini, half Haitian. If he were to come out here and do something similar, I mean, he doesn't have the same style as Speed, but he is the number one streamer in the world right now. So he is somebody that could absolutely do something. And I think what makes this entire thing so big and colossal is there's an interview going on right now with Kevin Hart saying the streamers are taking away from Hollywood because TV doesn't get 300,000 live viewers staying on for 6 hours at a time, and it's taking away budgets from Hollywood. So this is massive. And just to show you how big this thing is, since this tour kicked off, right? He has amassed 1.4 million new followers from this Caribbean tour. He's added 1.4 million new followers since this tour started.
And I'm sure plenty of that will not just be his age group, the 21-year-olds and the teens. I'm sure there would have been lots of adults who, based on the momentum, you know,
this is
want to follow and see what's happening.
Correct.
Joel has the age and the gender. Break that down for us.
Tell us, tell us.
For sure. So the age group is really, it started with the highest range between 18 to 25. And then, as Karen just mentioned, it grew in terms of the 25 to 35 bracket. And this is also showing the parents or the older generation is also watching to find out, okay, if this content is also good for the younger ones. And that is also showing how they are thinking about moving him into a different direction and really seeing what he has to offer for the younger generation.
So let me ask, do you think the DR situation, based on the numbers, and Joel and by all means Karen could weigh in, is it to do with economy of scale? Because that's a country of about, what, probably 10, probably 11 million. So I know based on, I mean, our population, 1.5, Jamaica, about 3. Some of these places, these islands, you go into 60,000, 100,000, 200,000. So even if the whole island was locked on and the diaspora, you still wouldn't be able to get the numbers. Just, we don't have the numbers. But DR and these places, Puerto Rico, much bigger islands. So I would imagine, based on that and the diaspora, and people looking into their country to see how it's going to be featured, did that play a fact also, the economy of scale, the population size?
I would say that with Dominican Republic, obviously the numbers definitely help, because you have more people that have a stake in this or have an interest in their home country, so they're watching to see how everything is unfolding. But that's Dominican Republic. Then you look at Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico came in at number 9. They only amassed 2.87 million views with 81,000 overall total engagement metrics. So Trinidad pretty much spanked that at 4.97 million and then almost doubled it in terms of engagement. So yes, the economy, the population scale does have an impact, but not totally, because again, look at Puerto Rico, nowhere close to any of the other islands.
Wow. As we wrap things up, some closing remarks. What was your biggest takeaway, Joel? And of course, I'll end with Karen. Your biggest takeaway from this iShowSpeed Caribbean Tour?
Biggest takeaway is really how we can capitalize on this. You know, we have our own influencers here in Trinidad working with different brands. And it's really about showing them how they can leverage these brands across the Caribbean. It's not just for Trinidad anymore. This guy really took it over all these islands across in just a short space of time. And we can do it as well if we put the energy and momentum behind it.
Thank you, Joel. Always great to touch base. Joel Maniquette, we went to the same school, different eras, but Belmont. Respect, my brother.
Yes, all the way.
All the way. Karen, your biggest takeaway from the iShowSpeed experience, the Caribbean Tour?
My biggest takeaway is the partnership with Expedia. They have officially changed the way travel is going to be done. And this is something that we're going to have to do a separate episode on, because there's a lot of pieces. When you look at what Expedia has done, Expedia is mapping every country that he is going to. They are listing out every activity that Speed does. So they have the stream that's available on the Expedia iShowSpeed website. They have the clips of the individual experiences. And if the experiences themselves, the business owners list themselves on the Expedia experience platform, they're also going to be included in the legend so people can see the clip and then book the experience right away. The way Expedia has done this is the blueprint for Caribbean Airlines. They need to be analyzing every aspect of this entire partnership and pretty much copy their homework, because what Expedia is doing has changed travel, and that's the biggest conversation that's happening right now worldwide in regards to iShowSpeed and Expedia, but we'll do a separate segment on that because it's phenomenal what they are doing.
I mean, everyone would have been engaged, including myself. I would go home and I would take it in. And, you know, some of these islands I would have been to, so, you know, you're seeing parts that are so familiar. Then some islands you've never been to at all. I've never seen the French Antilles. So I think he would have done was it Guadeloupe? Yes. I was really intrigued to see how, I say, whoa, look at the infrastructure. They have nice roads, buildings, you know. It was just really amazing. And, you know, it's one of those scenarios where I guess, the young people, because, you know, there's a bigger debate as to why people get on so for this man and who is he and stuff, but children saw someone who looks like them and they were able to celebrate him, and I have no issue with it.
But,
you know,
Jason, it was grown men running down speed too.
And Granny.
It was grown men.
Yeah.
And grannies.
Remember Granny bringing that speed?
And I'll throw this in. I think people keep saying that this was for kids. The numbers don't reflect that. The numbers reflect it was way more than kids. 25 to 34 was the main group interacting with IShowSpeed across all of the internet space. So it's not just the kids, but even so, the kids are also one of the biggest influences in the house, telling their parents where they want to go. And we, the Caribbean, needs to be in a position to be able to monetize. All of our businesses need to be digital because now everybody's Googling, everybody's researching where to come to. And if your business or brand is not searchable on the LLMs like ChatGPT or Google, you're going to miss out on all of the impact that could potentially happen.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, we could talk all morning. This is such an interesting one. Joel, Karen, all the best, gentlemen. Good. Have a great one.
Thanks so much
for touching base.
Have a good one. Take care.
Take care.
Take care. Yeah, the IShowSpeed phenomenon. My goodness, we saw it in real time. A young man, 21 years old from Ohio, toured the whole Caribbean and, as they say, mash up the place, you know. As we say in soca, the man really mash up the place. That's right. We take the pause. We come back. Conversations on cancer. We transition into another conversation. This time we are treating with skin care awareness. And a consultant dermatologist joins me, Dr. Amaral. See you soon.
What if we each took one small action today that could have big impact tomorrow? What if one family took a stance to reduce waste in our landfills? What if one school made a choice that can lead to a greener Trinidad and Tobago? When you recycle glass, you create jobs, reduce waste, save resources, and help preserve our environment. Glass bottles and jars are 100% recyclable and can be reused indefinitely. Recycle your glass and join the Glass Loop movement today.
You can make your goals unfold, go get it. You can live your dream, join the team, let's do this. You can get the help you need to succeed with Rand Credit Union. You can believe that you can achieve big goals, small ones too. Rand Credit Union, we've got you. No more waiting, that won't do. Make someday today. One life, so make it good. Live the way you know you should with Rand Credit Union. Yes, you could.
Live your best life today with Rand Credit Union.
Parents will do it, they'll go to work, have a day, bro, and come on and take that stress out on you.
Welcome to another episode of Manhood.
Everybody will do what they need to do to get what they want.
And if they can't fit in to the norms, then what do they do? They'll survive.
Not everybody wants to kill me because I might be all kind of thing, but I think I'm a good person.
The aspect of a mentor seeing something in you that you can't see in yourself.
Check yourself, because you shape that generation.
Are we losing in many ways the values?
Since I have this Parkinson's diagnosis, there's a group, a very small group, type group, who will always look after me.
Skin cancer awareness, that's the point of discussion. And we welcome consultant dermatologist, Dr. Laura Amaral. Dr. Amaral, let me say thank you for the time and look forward to your counsel this morning, a very important conversation as it pertains to skin cancer and the awareness that's needed. Welcome.
Hello, good morning. Thank you so much for having me here today. I'm Dr. Laura Amaral, a consultant dermatologist practicing in Trinidad and Tobago, and I'm really happy to be here to talk about skin cancer awareness. May is Skin Cancer Awareness Month. I'd also like to be able to talk about sun protection and the importance of early detection. And before we continue, I would also like to point out that May is also Lupus Awareness Month, something that is very important in our Caribbean population. So May the 10th was actually Lupus Awareness Day, but the whole month is also that month. Not that we're talking about that, but...
Well, let me ask, for those looking on, what exactly is skin cancer and why should we take this seriously? Because, you know, naturally people say, hey, we're from the Caribbean, we have the melanin, we dark, you know, sun carbon, we wipe on sunblock for. That's the kind of argument here all the time.
I hear it all the time.
Right? So why should we take it seriously and what exactly is skin cancer?
So skin cancer basically is where the skin cells begin to grow abnormally and uncontrollably in a way that the body cannot get rid of it. So it becomes a cancer. And because the skin is the largest organ in the body and the only one that you can actually see, it often gives us warning signs early if we pay attention. That's the important thing. The good news is many skin cancers are highly and easily treatable and curable when caught early. The dangerous part is when people ignore changing spots because they think it's just a mark, it's just a mole, it's not hurting me, it's not bothering me, it's been there for years, so it's okay. Black people or we non-white people, we don't get cancer. I don't know anybody with skin cancer.
You know, they call it age spot. Some people say, well, you know, it's an age spot, you know, spotting, but you're suggesting that it could be something more severe.
Yeah, so there is a difference between the age spots that is common in our population. Those are what we call seborrheic keratoses or dermatosis papulosa nigra. Okay. But there is a difference between that and moles and a changing mole or a cancer. So it's important to note if there is what we call an ugly duckling, or I'm supposed to lean forward. If there's an ugly duckling, one that doesn't look like the other, get it checked.
How common, Doc, is skin cancer in the Caribbean?
It is the most common cancer worldwide. We don't have accurate or up-to-date, let me not say accurate, up-to-date statistics for Trinidad and Tobago in terms of skin cancer, but it is the most common cancer worldwide, and we do have rapidly rising rates worldwide, including the Caribbean, particularly St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, Suriname, which are our neighbors. So it is increasing worldwide.
You know, again, we go back.
This is the most common.
Wow, and that's globally. Imagine that. But you know, in the Caribbean here, as I go back to what I said when we started off. People say, well, you know, I think we're back online. So I go back to what I mentioned earlier.
Oh, sorry.
When people naturally say, well, you know what, I dark, you know, skin cancer, them think affect me, I could deal with the sun. I mean, is that particular mindset spot on? What does the science say as it pertains to darker skin tones? Folks who are black, folks who are brown, are they also highly at risk?
Right. So darker skin tones do have some more melanin, which does offer some more protection against UV, which is the main cause of skin cancer. But it does not make you invincible. It does not give you immunity. People of color, which is people of African, Indian, Hispanic, Chinese descent, do get skin cancers. They get it more aggressively. It's more difficult to treat. It tends to present later on because unlike, let's say, Caucasians, and in certain countries where they're more knowledgeable about it or there's more awareness, they tend to present later to their dermatologist. So it does happen. We do get protection, but not immunity, not invincibility.
So the sun exposure that we see sometimes, let's say the tourists who will come down and sunbathe, lie down in the day whole day to get that golden tan, to get bronze, they're putting themselves in place, basically.
Yes. Every single tan is sun damage. Once you have a tan, no matter how light the tan is, that is sun damaged skin. having a blistering sun, if you have a blistering sun exposure, like you have excess sun exposure, and you know where you go and you spend the entire day at the beach and then you come back red and the next day is peeling, that increases your risk, especially if that happens in childhood, that increases your risk of skin cancer later on in life. Significant deadliest skin cancer.
My goodness. So, I mean, obviously the sun, risk factors. What else is a risk factor based on the science?
Well, tanning, tanning beds, smoking, repeated sunburns, as I mentioned, outdoor jobs or hobbies or sports. If you have a family history of skin cancer, lighter skin, a weakened immune system, for example, if you have a cancer, if you've been on chemotherapy, if you're HIV positive, if you are on medications that suppress your immune system, having one skin cancer increases your risk of having a next one significantly.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about folks in the sun all day. I think of cricketers playing a test match and you see them with their whole face with this kind of white lotion or whatever it is. They literally, I used to be like, what's going on? Is there any particular product, does it work pasting your face with all the sunblock and all that? Is that a layer of protection, as it were, for if you have no choice but to be in the sun all day?
Yeah, so the first thing is, of course, sun avoidance, especially between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. Secondly, sun protective clothing, so a wide-brimmed hat and clothing with UPF of 50 or higher. That protects the skin, physical protection. And of course, sunscreen is important. Between SPF 30 to 50, the higher than 50 doesn't give you additional protection. It just is how much you apply. So for the entire body, you should use 1 ounce. This is like if you're going to the beach and applying it to the entire body, 1 ounce, which is essentially like a shot glass. And for the face, 2 finger lengths, 2 thick lengths on the fingers. Face part, remember the ears, neck, if the chest is exposed, the back of the hands, everywhere that's exposed. Even for driving, there's UV protective sleeves. For golf, for those people who play outdoor sports, there are UV protective sleeves. For fishing, there's a hat that covers, and it covers, so just the eye. And of course, sunglasses.
Doc, I want to ask you before we wrap things up, because it's a particular phenomenon we have seen mostly Jamaica. It's kind of slowing down now. We've seen some people, some pockets here in Trinidad do it also. And I'm talking about bleaching the skin, whether it's a topical bleach out, whether people ingest some kind of pill, folks who are trying to lighten their skin for whatever reason. Does that pose any major issue down the road for those who attempt to bleach their skin, to become lighter, as it were?
Yes, it is strongly not recommended. Nobody should bleach their skin. It does increase your risk of skin cancers, but apart from that, what they use to bleach the skin is very potent topical steroids. So it has the same effect of taking steroid tablets, which would be weight gain, thinning up the skin, bleaching up the skin, cataracts, thinning off the bones. It has a lot of long-term sequelae. And I think because, every society is sort of colorist. If we focus on just not making fun of people and their skin color and embracing the variety of colors that we come in and ourselves, then we would have less of that. But I did actually study in Jamaica, and that was a big thing there. And I was saddened to see that it is sort of trending here now.
Well, Doc, so happy you were able to come in this morning, give us your counsel. Let's keep the conversation going, and thanks for all the awareness and some of the lessons as we treat with skin cancer awareness. All the best, Doc. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. All the best to you too. Take care.
That's right. Great conversation there with Dr. Amaral. So my next guest, we go back many years. I wouldn't say how many to date ourselves, but we are Rock of Ages friends from 19 along. And she's here to give us all the great details on an institution that's been let me tell you, a foundation and a bedrock as it pertains to education in the country. St. Joseph's Convent, Port of Spain, they're celebrating 190 years, and they have a big anniversary mass, and we welcome the president of the Past People's Association. Efwa Allen joins me next.
Magical Expressions Limited is the largest local importer and distributor of fresh cut stems, offering the widest range of beautiful flowers at the most affordable prices. Call us today at 701-6488 or visit our website to order.
Looking for a smart way to grow your savings? For just a limited time, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Credit Union is offering competitive fixed deposit rates of up to 4%. That's up to 4% guaranteed when you invest with PCU Fixed Deposit. Visit any of our locations in Barataria, Arima, San Fernando, or Tobago to get started today. For more details, visit policecreditunion.com or call us at 6124-PCU. PCU, your future is safe with us.
This is more than just music. This is where you find the best of TNT. This is more than just a vibe. This is where Bollywood gets a twist. This is more than just energy. This is Bhangra and indie pop too. This is the mix. This is the life. Lock on or log on now. Sangeet 106.1 FM. This is authentic East Indian radio. This is us.
Get the story first. Want to know what's happening in news, sports, or crime? Get the CNC3 app. As the story breaks, CNC3 is there giving you the story first on your mobile device. Be connected to the most trusted and reliable news source, CNC3. Access your world with just a tap. The CNC3 app. Download it today.
I'm so happy. I saw the rundown this morning, and I saw Efwa Allen on the lineup. I said, this is good. I didn't understand or I didn't recognize what was going to transpire. When I saw the details, I said, oh yes, I remember Efwa did go to Convent, and she's part of a great legacy. And when you consider Convent's history, 190 years now, obviously, in the mix, we would have been in school back in the day. Now, one thing I know, there's a particular standard, a particular walk, a swagger, and for you embody that. And I must say, you being the president of the Past People's Association, I'm so happy for that particular role. Somebody like you who's a realist, who could connect, who could really mix with the up tongue, down tongue, and wrong tongue, right? So I think it's a good look, and I really look forward to the details, because this is a big deal. I had no idea that Convent was around 190 years,
So St. Joseph's Convent, Port of Spain, is the oldest continuous running secondary school in Trinidad and Tobago.
Serious?
Since 1836.
It would have been that same location there?
It would have been the same location. The streets were named differently, but it would have been the same location, and they expanded over time.
So you all out before St. Mary's, or St. Mary's out before you all?
We are out before St. Mary's. So St. Mary's, I think they're somewhere around 162 years old, and I think QRC will be around 166 or 167. So the closest school to us would be St. George's, which is about 1 year behind us. They're 1837, and we're 1836.
St. George's right in Barataria.
Correct.
Look at that. History, yeah? History. So, obviously this is going to be, besides a mass, a grand reunion. Have you seen any, are we talking here all the generations, and even your generation coming to this?
Yes, and this is our annual reunion mass, and we have been doing this for decades. So every year, the Sunday after Mother's Day, we come together and we assemble in our chapel. And our chapel is just not a space for reflection and meditation, but it really serves as our school hall, our assembly hall. So it's really a great gathering place where we meet, we commensurate, we have fun together. And this year is a special celebration because we are celebrating 190 years, and we want to mark this occasion with Convent Courtyard, which is a family event. And so this features a kids zone. We have artisan market that has over 35 artisans. We have live entertainment, and we have a luncheon, and the proceeds to the luncheon go towards our chapel restoration project. But just to let everyone know, entry is free. So entry is free, so we invite everyone, friends, family, or community to come on down and support. And if you so desire, come have lunch with us and let's commune together.
On a personal note, Afua, from your time there going to school and the foundation that was set, what are some of the principles or the values instilled then that lives in you today?
Well, that's a great question. So from St. Joseph's Convent, I learned about sisterhood. And so I have a great community of sisters, of friends around me, of mentors. They have shared with me what it is to be dedicated, what it is to be proud of what you do, what it is to have ownership, what it is to have responsibility, and also what it is to have value in your community and to really give back as they have given to me.
Excellent. Some of their friends, I'm sure, you probably might have seen, or some of you all, as you rightfully said, that stay in touch. This seems to be like a grand one because 190 doesn't come around every year. This is huge. So walk me through the atmosphere and the whole vibe when you all have that reunion. Plenty hugs and kisses and sharing our stories, right?
It's a fabulous time. And what makes it even better is that we get to share with not only my reunion class, and we celebrated, I don't want to date myself, 25 years last year. Congrats. As a reunion class. Congrats. And we all got together, as much as of us that were in the country, we got together. But it's great to be able to not only share how you've been doing, how your lives are going, see everyone's kids sharing everyone's success, but you get to do that with the other sisters around us who graduated above and below us. And so, for example, we do take the opportunity during our reunion to celebrate the 50th reunion class. So that's something that started just before COVID. I think it was 2018 or 2017, where they got together, the 50th reunion class, which is such an amazing milestone. And so we get to see and to share and to experience with each other and to learn from each other. It's a great time, great time.
You know, 190 years of excellence and impact. I mean,
yes.
I remember you in your uniform. I remember we know each other from school days.
Yeah.
And it's just really been a tremendous journey to see your journey. And many of the girls who I know went Convent, Gabby, a couple of friends I remember, did nobody fall off, you know? All those girls doing well?
Yes. Yes,
those girls doing well.
They have all found their parts wherever it has taken you, and have really taken to it and done their best.
Listen, I didn't. She went to St. Joseph Convent. I know her from going to St. Joseph Convent when I was going Belmont. Come on, why could go Convent? Come on, man. Up to them, man. Because I'd have been the anniversary too, but no, I'm here to promote the anniversary.
Yes.
And to celebrate you all. So you said chapel restoration. What's the kind of work that needs to be done in the chapel?
Okay, so as I mentioned, the chapel is not only a space for meditation and reflection, it's also our main assembly hall for the girls.
But in terms of the infrastructure, what needs to be done?
And so what we need to do there are, so most recently, in November 2025, we completed the second phase of the restoration of the chapel windows. The windows of the chapel. So not the stained glass, but the rest of the windows. So in total, there were over 60 windows. So the first phase happened and was completed in 2021, 2022. And then we completed the second phase in 2025. In addition to that, there's work such as the roofing works that have to be done, electrical works that have to be done, making the space cooler, and just making sure that the space is safe, it preserves our legacy, then and continues to shelter the students at the school and provide them with refuge.
Do you get a tingly feeling every time you walk back into the school, you walk through the gate?
I cannot believe it. Every time I walk in, because there's so many things that are familiar, and then there's so much that has changed over the years.
Like what? What changed from then to now?
So, for example, the school has increased in the number of clubs that they have. So I remember going to the school and, you know, we had the sporting clubs, we had some of the social clubs, but they've expanded into dragon boat racing and debate club and all of these other types of clubs that they have in school. So the school has over 40 clubs. Some of the classrooms are the same, but some of the spaces are different. So we have updated over time the chemistry lab, the multipurpose lab, the gym, the theater, the home economics room. And so while some things are very familiar, the school has taken its time to ensure that the capital infrastructure of the school remains the same. There's still some teachers there from my time.
Serious?
Correct.
Yeah. And they look the same, some of them, right?
Some of them look exactly the same.
Yeah,
some of them look like the same.
Teachers do age. I have my teacher, my history teacher, Mr. Joseph. I didn't see that man since 1998. Saw the man at a function a couple months ago. Mr. Joseph looking the exact same way. I'm like, oh my goodness, such a great teacher. Good morning, Mr. Joseph. What house you was in? What was your house and your house color? What is it, sporty?
So I belong to Our Lady's House, so I want to send hello to all of those that were in Our Lady's House.
I know you don't do that.
Our Ladies, and the color was blue. Had a fabulous time, fabulous time in Our Lady's House. We were great together, and I was a sports captain back in the day. So
I know.
Great things.
I know very much into your sports and stuff.
Yeah.
Indeed. So you are indeed excited. It's this weekend here. It's happening.
It's this weekend. It's happening. So as I said, the entry is free, and we really want to encourage everyone, not only our St. Joseph's Convent, Port of Spain, sisters and brothers, because you know my brother did go to the school.
Yes,
for Form 6.
Is that a point in time boys went there, right?
Correct.
They stop with that now.
They still have boys that come to Form 6.
For real?
Correct.
On a real though, when the boys come in, the girls used to be all excited and stuff.
We could manage. We're able to manage ourselves with grace and dignity.
I understand. Well answered.
Right, and so just to let everyone know that the tickets for the lunch is $375. It gets you 3 meats, a side, dessert, and a drink. We also have a ticket for kids under 18. It's $125, and tickets are available at the school office at Kitchen Corner, and any executive, past people executive or committee member. And so we're really looking forward to the support of the school. Our next project after the restoration of the chapel windows would be to paint the exterior of the school. And so the Past Pupils Association, we are really tasked with the capital infrastructure and maintaining the legacy of the school. And so we are blessed to be able to be afforded that opportunity and continue to do the good works.
Well, you know what? I want to say, it's been a real pleasure and a joy to have you on the set to just interact and to reminisce.
Yes.
It's almost like a senior in uniform, us, going to watch.
Which uniform? We changed over time.
You changed. We
did.
Because I remember some of the lines by St. Mary's Grounds, watching, football on the sideline. Some really, really magical times. Great days. Pizza Hut, Lime, oh my goodness. Lime and home by you all. Amazing times, and, you're still doing your thing. I'll give you a chance to just send love to your year group, again, to the student body. We have the final say for.
Great. So I want to say thank you to the school administration, the 190th Steering Committee, the Clooney Board of Management for all of their support. I want to say a special good morning to Mrs. Ramphal and Sister Lorraine, the principal and vice principal of the school, Sister Maureen Alexander, who is the provincial leader for the Sisters of St. Joseph's of Clooney that manage us. A special good morning to my reunion class, the class of 1998-2000. And also, I just want to say thank you to all of our sponsors, our sister schools, our brother schools who supported us. So please come on down on May the 17th, 2026. We have a mass that starts at 10 a.m. We have lunch and Convent Courtyard that starts at 12 noon. And we encourage everyone to celebrate our annual reunion and 190th anniversary celebrations.
For Allen, touching base, president of the St. Joseph's Convent, Port of Spain Past Pupils Association. For great to see you. All the best.
You
yes,
too.
Indeed. that's how we wrap things up. I will be out for a couple of days. Tomorrow, Ryan steps in. So until we meet again, have a great one. God spare. I'll be back with you next week, Monday. Again, TNT, it's been great. And have a good one and be safe.